Hello again. We are Geeks Assembled. I'm Lee. That's Susan over there. And this week we are discussing a 1962 movie where the two leading actresses are most famous for having a very, very famous feud between each other in real life. Um, if you haven't guessed yet, we are talking about the movie Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, starring Betty Davis and Joan Crawford. The story of two sisters who was in show business. But one soon became disabled through some accident, so the other one has to look after her, and that's where the story sort of picks up. The movie starts, sort of thing. So we'll go over to Susan for opening thoughts on whatever happened to Baby Jane.
Yeah. So this is a story about baby Jane and her sister and the family dynamic of the Blanche and baby Jane Hudson, and it's tough. There's a lot of psychological stuff in this. There's a lot of disabled abuse,
Mm-hmm.
and then all the way into like imprisonment and physical abuse and emotional abuse and starvation and all sorts of really horrible icky stuff. But the interesting horror bits are intermixed with this this completely mad portrayal of baby Jane Hudson by Betty Davis. I mean, absolutely ape shit, crazy fucking mad. It's insane. I mean, her characterization is just incredible. Like I've never seen this movie, but I was blown out of the water. I mean, there's some I've big time fan of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I like me some psychologically some discussion of insane people, but this was brutal. It was amazing. And Betty Davis like ate every bit of the scenery. And she goes from being like innocent as a dove to crackling with evil energy. It's amazing. And Joan Crawford, it's just a sort of long process of death, and her her descent into from from jealousy to disability to death. I mean, it's incredible, and that is also a wonderful portrayal. And as someone who fights for disabled rights, you're like, holy shit, you know, just the inaccessibility of what was going on in the house. You never put someone in a wheelchair on the second floor of a stared abode. You never do. You have to have them on the ground floor so that they can access all of the things in the city. Otherwise, it's just so terrible. And this was an immensely disturbing piece, as I'm sure that there are folks around that are experiencing similar things today. It just takes my heart and goes ring. And it was directed by someone I wasn't familiar with, Robert Aldrich. but but also like it usually was just the two actors, like the two actresses there, the Joan Crawford and Betty Davis characters acting against each other. But then partway through there is this Victor Bruno who played King Tut in the Batman series.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a good Batman villain, but he was a good foil. He was like an actually sympathetic character in this. Yes, yes, he and his mother were poor and they were looking for the next big score. But she was she wasn't as sympathetic as he was, but they were both you know, it's 5,000 miles from the UK. So I mean, like, what are you gonna do? Yeah, they're gonna have to make some money, and they can't go back and live with mom and dad or gran and gramps back in Croydon or wherever they're from. I just that was to be honest. And then there was Mady Norman who played Elvira, the housekeeper.
Who knew what she was up to?
Who knew, who was catching on, finally catching on to this. Yeah, it wasn't like she knew all along, but she was finally catching on. She was like my hope for the whole movie, like, was that Elvira's gonna figure it out, and she never did. And she
Well,
never did.
she did figure it out.
Well, she did, but she didn't have any. Yeah, and then she didn't figure it out with anything left to provide any justice. She got hit over the head with a hammer, and that was it. There was that, and then there was the other. So anyway, it was terrible. What happened to Elvira was terrible. Whatever happened to Baby Jane, Baby Jane became like this evil mastermind of, she became a serial killer by the end. And, you just like, holy shit. Oh my God, really? And it was, again, these old actresses wanting to keep their mojo going and having it sort of escape. I don't know. It's brutal. Anyway, yeah, that's. Oh, and the next door neighbor's name was Bates. I mean, really. Hitchcock, maybe? Oh, a little nod.
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, anyway, so this is a good horror story, and that's what it is. This is a non-gory horror story. And with that, I pass it back to the one who really likes horror stories, gore, or whatever. Tell me what, Lee?
Well,
What happened to Baby Jane?
This is another movie where I've always caught it halfway through or at the ending, or or I've never caught the beginning all the way through. But this is finally I've sat down all the way through. What a marvelous movie! A wonder that they got Davis and Crawford to work together.
What is it? What are you talking about? I mean, what do you know about their relationship? Was it?
It's a well-known fact that they did have a feud, and they didn't really get on at all in life. But an actor is an actor. You got to get along with the script and do your thing. I was just wondering when I saw the part where she was kicking Blanche about on the floor. I thought, I bet she got. I bet Davis was enjoying that bit. But yeah, it's a story of a young girl, baby Jane Hudson, who was a child star on stage or in the theatres, and her success waned away. Her older sister became famous film star, and her sister tried making movies, but they weren't that good. She turned to alcoholism, and then of course there was an accident where Blanche, in the accident, broke her spine, and apparently Baby Jane was the one who tried to run her over in the car because she was that drunk. But then we get the twist at the end, of course, which sort of sends Baby Jane Hudson spiraling into insanity, drink fueled hatred of her sister, because she is now her keeper. She has to care her. She has to look after her 24/7 while she's upstairs in a room in a wheelchair. And the more she's drinking, the more she gets worse. The more evil she becomes, more vindictive. As you say, the maid Elvira sees these things happening. She finds these fan letters in the trash. She, and things like that, and she knows Baby Jane's doing stuff to Blanche. As you say, you hope that Elvira is going to be the hero of the day, but as you say, she does get a horrible comeuppance by the hands of Baby Jane. And as you say, it's the torture, the mental torture to begin with. Blanche, well, giving her own budgie canary for her dinner.
Oh my God.
So Blanche won't eat another meal after that. And then, of course, she does it again with a rat. Tormenting her that way. And then it gets worse and worse, taking the phone out the room, taking the button intercom, yeah. And she tries everything. She even tries throwing a note out the window for help. But of course, Baby Jane gets it and gives it back to her. If it was me, I'd have thrown it out the window again. But but some great. I mean, these actresses must have been. What was it? This was 1962, so they must have been in their 60s, should we say, or late 50s, 60s, playing this. But to see, because in the day, I mean, this is another film that uses clips from these two actresses' early career, because you see snippets of films what Betty Davis was in when she was younger. You see clips of Joan Crawford in movies when she was younger to enhance the story. So, which we did talk to another cast about what they did with Sunset Boulevard as well. They used from Gloria Swanson. But to see, because these two were a pair of beauties, beautiful women in their heyday.
And they were made up really horrible in this.
I mean the way Betty Davis made up with a whitened face. I mean, this was a black and white movie, but you could see that her face was powdered white. And the over the top makeup and the sort of straggly hair, what looked like the hair she had when she was a little baby, Baby Jane.
Yeah.
And you could see her spiraling back into that, sending a letter to heaven to her father. So you could see she was spiraling out of control.
Yeah.
And she just got worse.
And and Edwin Flagg thought he could get that character thought he could get away with, sort of using her for a lot of money.
Giving her money, yeah.
Yeah, but he was
But he sort of saved the day.
but yeah, but the other thing is that there wasn't any money for him to sneak out. I mean, at that point,
No,
she'd already
I mean,
liquidated everything.
she was faking Blanche's signature.
Signature.
She was faking Blanche's voice over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so all the money was just draining away.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes.
but great portrayal by both.
Yeah, I mean, Betty Davis being able to portray Joan Crawford's voice so well, that must have been like, Joan must have been like, oh, this is gonna come back to
maybe
bite me.
maybe that was Joan Crawford's voice.
Maybe. Oh, okay.
I don't think it was Betty Davis doing her.
Okay.
I think they dubbed it. But
Like Ainley, or like Delgado and Courtney in Doctor Who,
maybe, yeah.
the Time Monster episode. Okay.
But
But this is, I mean, if not, then Betty Davis has a lot of range, a lot of vocal range.
both of these were great leading ladies of their era.
Yeah.
And as I said, they were in their twilight years, coming on in the 1960s to the 1970s. And to get roles like this, it must have been, there must have been jumping through hoops to play these characters, showing their range of acting.
Yeah.
Because they always used to play beautiful leading roles. I mean, Betty Davis with her, Betty Davis eyes, and Joan Crawford with her high cheekbones, and then you see them both bedraggled, and
Yeah.
and it's also as well the ending. I've always been wondered about the ending, where the police finally found them and she's dancing away on the beach.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's up to the audience to
write the rest, right?
make up their own mind. Did Blanche die, or did the police save her? Because that's the way it's just left, isn't it? She's laid there. You don't see if she's alive or not. The police are there over her, and she's just dancing away in a circle of people.
Right.
So I don't know if that's left for us to decide whether they got to her in time or she was dead.
No, probably she was dead, because like that was the
because of
they kept saying she was dead over and over and over again throughout the whole thing.
I mean, the twist at the end, of course, is Baby Jane never did run the car into Blanche to break her spine.
Right.
It was Blanche who drove the car at Baby Jane because she was annoyed and upset of her taking the piss out of her at this party on the night because she was so drunk.
Right.
But she missed. She crashed into the gates. Baby Jane ran because she was in such a drunken state. She didn't.
And wasn't there in the beginning of the movie? Didn't it sort of freeze frame on the doll with the broken face?
Yeah.
So like, that you're supposed to see that it is Baby Jane that the car was aiming for.
But you don't realize that until the end.
But you don't realize that until the end, and that twist is awesome.
So she did it to herself. She scrambled out the car and got towards the gates when the police and that came. They found Baby Jane in a hotel somewhere, drunk, didn't know what had gone on because she couldn't remember the night before. So everybody assumed
Right,
she tried to kill her sister.
right. And then
Uh,
her sister just let it ride like that. Yeah.
yeah, so all those years she was caring for her, it wasn't. She'd never, because it's the insanity had come around because of that,
Hmm.
and that ending. Also to finish on there as well. One of the quotes near the end when she explained that to Baby Jane. What do you mean? We could have been friends all these years. What a great quote.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah.
it's another. I wouldn't say it's a noir film.
No,
You're right.
so this one's horror.
It's yeah. There's it's psychological. It's more psychological than horror, but you got the horror element. Yeah.
Because of the torture, because of
Yeah.
the the fact that she was starving her, and the
Tied to the bed and gagged.
tied to the bed, gagged, and then whenever fed, her birdie, as you would say, her budgie was there on the plate, and
Yeah.
then the next time she's given a meal, it's a dead rat on top of
Yeah.
some sliced tomatoes, as her meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she's never gonna eat again.
I mean, this was. I
Good,
think.
it's so good. Oh my gosh, this is written. th- These are this one and Sunset Boulevard are so creative and so full of darkness and twists and psychology and
Damn, just but it comes down to damn great acting
and
from everybody.
yeah, yes.
If it wasn't for those two actresses, uh, it would. I know that I think they remade this as a TV movie, maybe 20 odd years or so ago,
Oh yeah.
with the Redgrave sisters,
Oh
Lynn
yeah.
and Lynn and Vanessa. I've never seen it, but come off it, you can't top Davis and Crawford in this.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't even have thought, but
They're just
the
they're
the
still.
the, the only ones who maybe be able to get close are the Redgrave sisters, because you got to admit those two are fucking good actresses too.
Mm,
But the other thing is like I didn't even know that there was that feud,
oh yeah, it's a well known.
BTS behind the scenes feud. So
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, talk about not needing a lot to get into character. Oh my God, you know, the director says, "Are you ready?" And these two are like, "Oh, "I'm ready. This bitch has fucked me over." Oh my God,
yeah. This
what?
this feud was so famous. I think about 3 4 years ago, a TV drama series was made about it called Feud, and I
No
think
shit.
oh, what was her name? Oh, I forgot the actress's name.
I'll find it.
Yeah, she was in American Horror Story. Jessica Lange.
Oh
Jessica
wow.
Jessica Lange played one of them. I can't remember who she played. But yeah, it was Feud. It was called Feud. It was about the
Wow.
story between Davis and Crawford.
All right. Well, I'll find it. That sounds
Mhm.
great.
So yeah, but it's the characterizations of the two. You feel the pain of Blanche. You
You
feel
totally do.
the insanity of Baby Jane,
You do.
uh,
Oh
of
my gosh.
desperately wanting to be a success again.
And you'd like uh there's the subtle need for disability justice
Yeah,
coming on this side. I know that you're that not everybody will understand this, but coming from my heart is like this disability justice, like folks who are stuck on the second floor, folks who can't reach the phone, folks who
yeah,
are unable to feed themselves. Around here in Massachusetts, I must say that if your caregiver is abusive towards you, you need to call the Disabled Persons Protection Commission, because they are ones who will sort it out for you. Your care providers, the need for them to not be abusive or horrible or financially abusive, emotionally abusive, physically abusive, all those things, sexually abusive. If they are taking care of you, you call Disabled Persons Protection Commission, and just tell them that you want to make a report, and that they'll investigate it and involve the police and everybody else.
And there you go. That was Susan on her soapbox for this week.
Rawr!
It's tended to
Disabled power. That's a go.
But yeah, I totally agree with what you say there. It's shocking. It is shocking what happens. I know back in this was 62, so disabled availability space-wise, I don't think they ever thought about putting them on the second floor was a problem. But back then, things have changed these days now. It's all on the ground floor, isn't it? Or they've got lifts. So, but there was no lift there, was it? It was just a staircase.
It was just a staircase, and she
got down it though. She got down it. She was
got down it. Oh my gosh. That was just intense. Yeah.
It was. It's intense, but it's so it pulls you in from the performances.
It does.
Two great actresses. I think this is the first time we've reviewed a movie with either Betty Davis or John Crawford in it.
True story.
We've been going for quite a few years now, so this is a first for us.
Yes, indeed.
We just seem to miss these, but we've got there in the end of a Betty Davis and Crawford movie. So cool.
Good job.
Anything else you want to say about whatever happened to Baby Jane?
Yeah, like there was sort of a subtle like sexualization of kids at the beginning, but then that resolved itself into more horror at in the middle of the movie. I think that was done kind of as a way of driving the point home that these two were going to be on separate sides of this battle. But I mean, that was also not discussed much. I mean, there are a lot of people who got away with a lot of stuff back then. Like what's that guy's name who was in the BBC? The one who was the kids presenter.
Oh yeah, well we don't like to talk about Mr.
Yeah. Anyway, that guy, and then there was like the guys over on this side of the pond. There were some people who are really gross over here, and so the other part of that is that you didn't have any sort of like justice or code of behavior yet, but now we definitely do. We've got Me Too, we've got disability rights, we've got people who are minding the behavior of folks towards kids. I think things have gotten a whole hell of a lot more accountable.
Still a long way to go.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But we're fighting for it.
Yeah.
What is it that MLK said? The arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice. So let's go arc. Okay.
Yeah. But anything else we got a final say and score?
Yeah, final say.
Go on then.
Well, this story starts in the theater and ends on the beach. So basically it goes from like the middle of Los Angeles over the coast and out to sea. And it's I mean, even that is like a long progression. It's really cool. It's a really horrible movie. Horrible meaning horror filled, and not bad movie, but fucking cool. And I hadn't seen it before. I guess I'd heard about it, but I'd never seen it, and I haven't watched many things with Betty Davidson. I haven't watched many things with Joan Crawford in it. So here's me starting from scratch, you know, and I really think that yeah, I think this one's gonna get 10 out of 10 dead bodies on the beach. For me, I think that the challenge of this movie is that you end up with nobody that you really like all the way. Like you're never really on anybody, even by the end, you're never on anybody's side all the way. And that's a good horror story right there. That's a good horror story. And none of it seems silly at all by the end. I mean, none of it does. And yeah, so for all this brutality, yeah, 10 dead bodies on the beach. Over to you, Lee.
Yeah, I agree. It's brutal. It's horrific at times, but the two performances from these ladies is amazing. Just blows your mind what these actors did back then, in their twilight years, shall we say. Yeah, great movie. I'm going to give it 10 rat salads out of 10. So, hey, you never know. You don't knock it till you've tried it. Yeah, so that's our little review of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. The movie, not the TV version. So, you guys, have you seen it? What do you think? What do you think to these two women who in it? Did Betty Davis scare you? Did you feel for Joan Crawford? Did it engross you? Let us know. Put just comment on the video below. This video is shared across social media, so you'll find us on Facebook, YouTube, on X. It'll be there. Just leave a message. Let us know what you thought of the movie. Let us know what you think of us if you want. You know, be honest. We don't care. We've got thick skin. Also, if you want to join us, leave a message. You know, if you want to join us in these things we do now, or be in our group, just leave a message and let us know. You just have to be, for these videos, you need to be 18 and over, because some things, what we review, are 18 rated, or sometimes we just get carried away a bit and we get a little bit heated. So yeah, 18 and over for members on the videos. All you need is a working camera, working microphone on the device you use, and we'll try and get you in. And one more thing, of course, the bell notification button on our YouTube channel. Press it, and you'll get notified every time. No, she does the sound effects now. It's great. You'll get notified every time we put the video. So that's our information bump done. So now I'm going to go off, and I'm going to have a little budgie sandwich. And if I can't have a rat salad, I'll have a budgie sandwich. Spitting feathers, I was. So until next time, guys, please be safe. Look after your siblings, your brothers and your sisters.